Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook World Channel. Recently, timelines have been heating up again. An issue that initially seemed like a casual debate among fans has turned into a major discussion involving numerous names. Netizens are divided, speculation is running wild, and pieces of evidence are being gathered one by one. Amidst all this, one question continues to arise. Was Jimin really the target of the alleged attack? First, everything seemed vague. A sarcastic post appeared without directly mentioning any names. However, many felt that the context, timing, and certain details were too coincidental to ignore. It didn't take long for screenshots to begin circulating. Sentence fragments were analyzed, emojis interpreted, and even word choice was scrutinized. Observant netizens noticed that some statements seemed to refer to specific moments related to Jimin's activities during the same period. What further stirred the public was the emergence of additional evidence in the form of old interaction histories and digital footprints being resurfaced. Several accounts showed a consistent pattern of posts that pointed to veiled criticism of certain individuals. When compared to the timeline of events, many believe the direction of the satire is becoming more focused. It's no longer just a general suspicion, but a narrative that's slowly forming a larger picture. On the other hand, others are trying to defuse the situation. They point out that, in the social media era, interpretation can be highly subjective. A sentence can be interpreted differently depending on the reader's perspective. However, that's precisely where the controversy lies. Because there are no explicit mentions of names, the scope for speculation is vast. Each side feels they have strong arguments to support their respective beliefs. Some netizens even compared this case to previous incidents. They found similar patterns, both in terms of language and the timing of its emergence. Some argue that this isn't the first time a narrative like this has emerged, and each time, Jimin's name is often dragged into the vortex of opinion. For supporters of this theory, this recurring pattern is seen as an indication of a certain trend that's hard to ignore. However, it's also important to consider the broader context. The world of fandom is known for being highly dynamic and emotional. High levels of loyalty often make responses more sensitive. When criticism or ambiguous statements are made, the response can expand far beyond the initial intent. In situations like this, the line between fact and assumption becomes thin. Evidence considered strong by one party may be deemed weak by another. Another factor fueling the uproar is the rapid spread of information. Within hours, a single post can reach thousands, even millions of people. Each person adds their own opinion, theory, or analysis. As a result, the narrative snowballs. As more and more people discuss the possibility that Jimin was targeted, the perception only intensifies, regardless of whether there is official confirmation. Some observers try to look at it from a public communication perspective. They argue that if there is no intention to attack a specific individual, a clearer statement could help calm speculation. On the other hand, others argue that not every issue needs to be addressed, as a response can only prolong the controversy. The choice to remain silent or speak out both have consequences for the dynamics of public opinion. Undeniably, Jimin's name holds significant influence and a vast fan base. Any issue associated with him automatically receives intense scrutiny. That's why, when allegations surfaced that he was targeted, the reaction was so massive. Many felt the need to defend, while others demanded clarification. Emotions mixed with protectiveness, creating an increasingly tense atmosphere. Amidst all this debate, one thing to remember is the importance of verifying information before drawing conclusions. Digital evidence can indeed provide clues, but without complete context, interpretations can be skewed. Wise netizens try to exercise restraint and wait for further developments, while remaining critical of any circulating information. Was Jimin truly the target? To date, the answer remains open to interpretation. The circulating evidence is enough to spark a major discussion, but not necessarily enough to establish a final conclusion. In an era where opinions can become truth simply by being repeated enough, caution is key. Regardless of whether these allegations are true or not, this incident once again demonstrates the powerful impact of social media on public perception. A short post can trigger a long and emotional wave of discussion. A big name like Jimin is certainly not immune to this dynamic. Precisely because the spotlight is so intense, every small detail can become the subject of widespread discussion. Ultimately, perhaps the more important question is not simply whether he was targeted, but how we, as netizens, respond to issues like this. Will we immediately believe the loudest narrative, or choose to analyze it with a cool head? Because behind every controversy, there are always lessons about digital literacy, empathy, and responsibility in sharing information. This issue may subside over time, replaced by other, no less heated topics. But the trail of discussion will remain as a reminder that in cyberspace, perceptions can form very quickly. And when a big name is mentioned or suspected of being targeted, the impact is never small. Netizens have been shocked by the circulating evidence, but the true truth still requires clarity, not mere assumptions. The resulting wave of discussion didn't stop with analyzing the initial post. After the issue went viral, more and more accounts tried to dissect small details that might have previously gone unnoticed. Some retraced old comments, others compared writing styles, and even tried to read patterns of relationships between accounts to discover possible motives behind the statements. Each new discovery was immediately shared, sparking a heated debate in the comments section. Interestingly, some netizens felt that the tone of the post in question carried a certain emotion. They perceived it as being offensive, even though it wasn't explicitly stated. From this perspective, evidence is not only seen in the content of the post, but also in the timing and context of the situation. When the post appeared close to a specific moment involving Jimin, many considered it too specific to be a coincidence. However, on the other hand, there were also voices calling for a more rational approach. They emphasized that in the digital age, assumptions can easily be formed from mere fragments of incomplete information. Social media algorithms also reinforce popular narratives, so users tend to see content that aligns with their views. As a result, the discussion space becomes like an echo chamber, constantly repeating the same opinions without truly presenting new perspectives. This situation also demonstrates the complex internal dynamics of fandoms. Loyalty and a sense of belonging often lead fans to feel compelled to stand on the front lines when their idols are perceived as under attack. This sense of solidarity can be a positive force, but it can also trigger tension when emotions take over. When one party feels their idol is being victimized, while the other feels the accusations are baseless, a clash of opinions is inevitable. Some observers see this polemic as reflecting a larger phenomenon in online communication culture. Subtle innuendos, implied messages, and ambiguous statements are often used to convey opinions without directly naming names. This approach allows for wide room for interpretation, but also opens up the opportunity for misunderstanding. In this case, this gray area is the primary fuel for debate. Some also question why issues like this escalate so quickly. The answer may lie in the appeal of the drama itself. The public tends to be drawn to conflict, especially when it involves popular figures. Every piece of information feels like a puzzle piece that must be put together. The more people involved in the process of uncovering the truth, the greater the collective curiosity generated. However, many are beginning to tire of the recurring cycle of controversy. They hope to refocus on work and achievements, rather than speculation that may not be well-founded. For some, this protracted debate actually obscures the positive aspects that should be the focus. Amidst all this, it's important to remember that every individual under the public spotlight is still a human being with feelings. Allegations, assumptions, and evolving narratives can have an emotional impact, both on those suspected of being targeted and on others involved. Therefore, the way we speak and disseminate information has real consequences. To date, there has been no official statement that completely shuts down the room for speculation. Therefore, the discussion will likely continue, at least until clearer clarification emerges. But one thing is certain. This incident serves as another reminder that in the digital age, opinions can move faster than facts. Netizens have been shocked by the array of evidence and analysis circulating, But the real truth often requires time, calm, and a more holistic perspective to truly understand. That concludes our comprehensive discussion of the evidence that has netizens in a state of uproar and the suspicion that Jimin was targeted. Despite the various speculations circulating, it's crucial to remain wise, not immediately believe any piece of information, and always check the context before sharing an opinion. The digital world moves fast, but we can still choose to be calm and rational in our responses. What do you think? Is the circulating evidence strong enough? Or is this just an exaggerated misunderstanding? Share your thoughts in the comments section, but please be respectful. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, share it with your friends to expand the discussion, and of course, subscribe to this channel to stay updated on the latest issues and analysis. See you in the next video. Purple Heart.